It's an absolutely insane day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast is about to get their sack sued off for art theft, copyright infringement. This is serious.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well. Better than Wizards lawyers are feeling at this moment because they are in nightmare territory. Being caught for copyright infringement, art theft is bad enough when it's somewhat nebulous and you have to defend yourself, but this is an absolutely concrete case we're dealing with. In fact, it was a magic artist discovering that another magic artist has stolen their work. And man, to steal from one of the greats like Donato Giancola is an insane maneuver to make. This guy has been a part of Magic since the earliest days. So let's start out by taking a look at the infringing artwork. This is Trouble in Pairs, right? So, obviously, a lot of you already know this card. It is a powerhouse white card that's pulling its weight and is now pulling Wizards into the court system because Donato ain't having it. The first thing that he posted said, "Hey, Faye Dalton, do you mind not stealing my work on highly paid public commercial commissions in the game in which I make my living and hold my reputation dear? This is criminal and theft. What other works have you stolen?" And that is a very valid question. So you gotta be wondering, wait. Why is he reacting like this? Why did he follow that up with going, wow, nearly speechless, but not speechless enough not to contact a lawyer, criminal copyright infringement? What were you thinking, Faye Dalton and Wizards of the Coast? To be clear, there are exacting details in the neck, arms, background, and hand which show clear copied structures from my art. Copied and pasted. This is not about similarities. This is about direct copying. And he's absolutely right. Let's take a look at the artwork itself. You can see the original artwork that Donato did for an old Cyberpunk 2020 book. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how cute it is to see something that's from the past that's supposed to be the future, in that right now it's 2024, but Cyberpunk 2020 is the future. Obviously, they've changed it now to Cyberpunk 2077 because that sounds more intense and futuristic, right? But that's what it was back in the day. And on that note, there are some people, when this card was originally spoiled, who pointed out numerous flaws. Yo, that vest feels slapped on. Wait a minute, why does this feel to me like Shadowrun and Cyberpunk? And they were absolutely on to something, right? Because there are indisputable details in this artwork. When you take a look at it, you might just go, oh, it's just inspired by. This isn't like a straight up trace or anything like that. But the more you look at it, the more that falls apart. Take a look at the arches behind the orange-haired character, okay? You can see that those arches are clearly from the original artwork. If you take a look at the stairs as well and the way that they've been handled, you can tell that doesn't match up. But as far as I'm concerned, the most damning part of the artwork altogether is this character's head. When you look at the Cyberpunk version, you can see they have one of those crazy brain hoses, which always seems like a terrible idea. I had a pocket watch once, and that pocket watch chain would get caught on door handles and other things, and I would just end up getting yanked back. I can't imagine how bad that would be having a head hose. So take a look at the head hose, and you'll notice that it connects to a jack in the person's skull, right? So why on the artwork in Trouble in Pairs does this individual have a head jack lump in the exact same spot, right? Why would that end up on this art if it wasn't completely stolen? So this is a very, very obvious case of stolen artwork. And Donato may not be the biggest fan of Wizards of the Coast at this point, on top of this happening, because I have spoken to Magic artists that told me he really wasn't happy with the way they handled the Lord of the Rings set and said, you can't do artist proofs, you can't do it, it's all got to be done digitally and that kind of thing. So as far as I understand, there's already a schism in the relationship, which causes a bigger problem for Wizards of the Coast. Right now, Donato is still working with Wizards. The most recent piece of artwork that he has done is for Markov Manor, and check it out. Check out the flavor on this. It's called Caught Red-Handed. And that's what he literally did to Faye. He caught her red-handed. I love it. And the flavor text is like, yo, I was framed. They just did a very convincing job. So that is incredible, right? Wizards of the Coast is in serious trouble here. Basically, they can't just go, we didn't know. It doesn't work that way. While they do have contracts with their artists where the artists agree that they won't do this, that doesn't absolve Wizards of the legal responsibility of printing and selling infringing works, right? This is definitely a genuine lawsuit. So they got to be sweating bullets over that. And then it gets crazier, my friends. Notice how the card's called Trouble in Pairs. Well, maybe you're wondering, if one guy's infringing, what if the other character's infringing? Like, imagine a world where somebody not only picked one of the most well-known Magic artists in the universe to steal work from, but imagine they decided to top that by going, yo, I can do better. I'm just not going to steal from Donato. What if I go after Boris Vallejo as well? What if I literally take Boris Vallejo's, one of the best known fantasy artists of all time ever, not just forget Magic, just worldwide, like iconic, well-known artwork. What if I just stole one of his bodies and used it for the artwork from the other guy? So we would have literal trouble in pairs. Well, great news, friends, or bad news, depending on your perspective. Guess what? The body was stolen from Boris Vallejo. You've got artists, I should say, like Jeff Mirancola, who sat down and went, I was looking at this artwork, and I felt like it really had Boris Vallejo kind of shading and whatever. And I went and checked, and it's like, oh, actually, I found the exact body. Check out the arm. The exact same shading, all of it. It's literally all there. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, they stole the body, but clearly the head, they did something and added something new, right? Like, there's got to be something there. Oh, no, my friends. The head was stolen from a magazine. The head of this character was stolen from a magazine and pasted on there as well. So there's a bare minimum of 3 different artists whose work has been stolen and stapled together into this awful beast. This is next level wild, and it gets even more ridiculous if you actually go to Faye Dalton's website where it's advertising her work. It says Faye's work is incredibly detailed and boasts of vintage quality. Jeez, I wonder why it boasts of vintage quality. Because she's constantly stealing other people's old work? I don't know. I can't say for certain. But when you turn in a piece of artwork that has stolen elements from 3 different artists, and then when you get called out on it, you close down your Instagram and don't respond to anybody, it's not a good look. So this is clearly a case where Wizards is absolutely hosed. And let's be clear, this is partially of their own making. And I don't mean just because they hired Faye Dalton. There's something inherently wrong with the way that Wizards operates, and I have dubbed it the Jason Rainville problem, where essentially they don't pay these artists what they're worth, and they don't give them enough time. So you have Jason Rainville, who actually laid out that the art for Storm the Seed Core, which is incredible artwork, right? We're talking like Renaissance painting style. When you look at it, you feel genuine emotion. It's amazing. But it took him a whole week to paint that. Like a week of his life. Full shifts, guys. And Wizards, at the time, now they pay a little bit more, but at the time, they paid $1,000 per artwork, right? So you have to, as an incredibly talented artist, you have to work all week for $1,000. Like, most people aren't going to go that route. The same way that the writing and the lore and stuff has been cheaped out because Wizards getting cheap with it, they basically go, well, we're paying this flat rate. It doesn't matter how talented you are. So it basically encourages people to cut corners, right? Wizards of the Coast, not only do they not pay that well, but on top of that, they have insanely tight deadlines sometimes. I was speaking with a Magic artist who specifically told me that Wizards contacted them and was like, we want you to do this, 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 and this. And he's just like, that's not possible. I literally can't paint at that rate. Like, that's inhuman. Like, I can't do that. Like, I can give you guys maybe 2 pieces of artwork. You want 5. Like, I'll do what I can, but this is absolutely insane. So you got other people who are like, yeah, you want artwork? No problem. Okay, hold on. I'll go grab this, click, 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 slap it in, put it underneath, and just trace over it. And that's what's going on. This isn't the first instance we've seen of it, and it won't be the last, right? And people are turning around and blaming the art director. It is the art director's responsibility to make sure that all the artwork is valid and usable. But at the same time, Wizards of the Coast has made their job impossible. Right? Wizards of the Coast is making 1 billion different cards now. We went from like 3 sets a year to 3 sets a quarter. And those sets now have 700, 800 different pieces of artwork with all the variants. So Wizards is like one step up from the sweatshop of artists. And you might think to yourself, yo, why don't they just go elsewhere? There's nowhere else to go. When I talked to this artist, he explained to me, Magic the Gathering is the biggest hirer of people who do fantasy artwork. And there's no way to gain credibility faster than working for Wizards of the Coast. If you don't have a big name like that on your resume, you're not considered to be an actual professional. So Wizards of the Coast, I mean, to their credit, I love the fact that they are responsible for producing so many different awesome pieces of artwork, right? Like, for me, art and lore is a big part of Magic the Gathering, and it's what got me into the game. Each card can be its own individual story, but the reality is Wizards of the Coast doesn't value its artists or treat them very well at all. So this sort of thing was bound to happen. And remember, Wizards takes about 1.5 years to get stuff finished, finalized, get sets done, which means there's going to be more art from this artist getting out there, and more than likely it's going to be stolen artwork. So Wizards of the Coast has a real problem on their hands where any Faye Dalton artwork is super suspect. They have to sit there and go, okay, so how do we pull stuff from production? What if art from this artist is already in Assassin's Creed? What if it's already in Bloomborough, right? Like, this is in some ways a problem of Wizards' own making. I do have to admit that unfortunately, this probably is going to be another tally in the column of, yo, let's get AI artwork rolling faster and get rid of the artists, because at least with AI artwork, we can just go, oh no, a guy named Bob made it in our office, right, Bob? You're a super painter and you're responsible for every painting. Wow, Bob paints like 500 paintings a set. Yeah, he's a real prolific digital artist. So I fully see Wizards switching over to an AI model where they just have somebody tweaking the art enough that they can call it their own, because that's the real thing that's holding companies back. First of all, obviously, there's the fact that AI art isn't quite good enough. It's not up to snuff with hands and like some really minor details that make it obvious that it's AI art. But other than that, it's really just the fact that Wizards can't own AI artwork that stops them. They can't own the copyright to it, so anybody can do whatever they want with any AI artwork. Once the laws kind of catch up, because at some point, it's going to be inevitability that AI that's created by corporations or whatever will be considered their stuff. But for now, AI is kind of cobbled together mostly. In most cases, all AI is cobbled together out of stolen stuff, right? Midjourney was apparently trained swiping a whole bunch of magic art. So they stole like 15, 20,000 different pieces of magic art to actually go ahead and get that working. And there's a bunch of magic artists who are suing Midjourney, and I think maybe some other AI as well. So it's a really rough time to be a magic artist. And it just blows my mind that somebody who is an artist and understands how hard it is would turn around and just steal this art from other artists, just not caring. I do have to admit, I love the fact that the website is like, they make very detailed artwork and it's incredibly vintage. It's like, try doing some modern stuff. Do you not have anything to steal, right? Ultimately, this is disgusting, and Wizards of the Coast has been so greedy and just rushed stuff out so much that I can't help but kind of enjoy the fact that they're getting hosed here, right? Like, they do deserve it. If they weren't in this breakneck pace to churn a bunch of crap out and they were putting in the effort, I would feel different. But the magic of this era ain't like the magic of the previous era, and people like Donato, who put in genuine work, don't deserve to have their work stolen by hacks. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all I got to say for now, my friends. Big shout out to my patrons for supporting my channel. I'll be doing a live stream tonight talking about this and other subjects, so if you want to come by and hang out, link will be for that down in the description and the comment section, so I'll see you guys there. Goodbye for now.